All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us today, either be it in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, depending on where you are logging in from. My name is Kevin Henry, and I work with the Viterbi School of Engineering's on-campus marketing and recruitment team. I'm glad you guys have taken the time to join us today to learn a little bit more about one of our exciting programs, our Master's in Financial Engineering. So we're going to spend some time to really go over that program and learn all the different nuances with that program and hopefully provide some information to you that you may apply for it in the future. So I'll get us started. One moment. So just to go over some housekeeping items. There are a lot of links that will be in this presentation. So don't feel that you have to write any of these things down. You will get a copy of the presentation slides, and all of those links will be active. So you'll be able to follow up with those in your own time when you have a moment to go back and review the presentation. I will ask that if you have any questions during the course of the presentation, that you actually add those in the question and answer panel instead of the chat. It just makes it easier for us to go back and kind of follow up with any questions that may come through. Don't feel like you have to wait until the very end of the presentation to ask a question. You can ask the question whenever you feel so inclined to do so. And what will happen is I will typically wait until the end to go over all those questions, unless it's something that I catch in real time and it's relevant to what we're talking about at that moment. But feel free to get it off your mind and put it in the question and answer box, and we will come back to it for sure by the end of the presentation. All right. The only last thing I will say is that it may take a day or two for you to get the copy of these slides, so just bear with us. We usually try to get them out as soon as possible within the next day or two after the presentation. All right. So today's program, the program itself will last anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes. And then after that, we will allow time for Q&A. Today, we're going to go over just kind of a broad stroke of the University of Southern California with some information and some statistics, as well as the Viterbi School of Engineering. And then we'll spend some time with our program spotlight, looking at not just all of our master's programs, but specifically our MS in financial engineering. And then I'll take some time and go over our application criteria so that you know what you need to do in order to apply. And then we'll talk a little bit about our Den at Viterbi online offering, as well as tuition and funding, and then question and answers at the end. All right, so University of Southern California, USC. Many of you know or may know that we're located right in the heart of Los Angeles. Here's a few amazing images of our campus. I work on campus. It definitely looks like this on most days, especially the sunny days that we have. So it just gives you an idea of the aesthetic of the campus. USC, like I said, we're located in the heart of Los Angeles. We're about 3 miles from downtown LA. We are the oldest private university in the Western United States, founded in 1880. We are home to 23 academic schools and divisions and over 47,000 students that attend our university. And as you can see, we're a little bit larger on the graduate side than we are on the undergraduate side, which is always an interesting note. We are also home to over 450,000 alumni worldwide. So lots of students that come through and graduate at all different levels at USC and add to that alumni network, which we are often known for throughout the world. We have over 4,767 full-time faculty throughout all of those different schools and divisions on campus. And we're also home to a very diverse student population, both domestically and internationally. Just a few stats about the Viterbi School of Engineering. Within Viterbi, we have 6,680 graduate students, 65 master's programs, 13 doctoral programs, 40 online master's programs online at Den at Viterbi, which I'll talk more about towards the end of the presentation so that you understand what that actually means. 38 research centers, 212 full-time tenure track faculty, and we were founded in 1905. Although the Viterbi School was named in 2004, it has existed since 1905. We're also home of those alums. 104,000 are Viterbi alums, specific and home to the Viterbi School of Engineering. We are also home and host to 8 academic departments within the Viterbi School of Engineering, and you can see here how those different engineering disciplines break down, and it's everything from aerospace and mechanical engineering to industrial systems engineering and everything in between. All right. And at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Professor Iowanu, who is going to talk to you about the MS in Financial Engineering. Professor Iowanu is the director of the MS in Financial Engineering program. He's also the A.V. Balkrishnan Chair, as well as the university professor of electrical, computer engineering, aerospace and mechanical engineering, and industrial systems engineering. So he has a very, very extensive resume. He's also the director of the Center for Responsible AI for Decision Making in Finance, as well as the member of the National Academy of Engineering, as well as the fellow of the National Academy of Inventors. So I'm going to pass it over to Professor Iowanu, who is going to talk to you more about the MS in Financial Engineering.
Um, Thank you, Kevin, for the introduction, and welcome everyone to this webinar. Kevin, can I go to the next slide? Next slide. Okay, our master program in financial engineering started back in, I believe, 2008, 2010. So it's about 60 years old. And during that time, we were able to adapt our curriculum based on feedback we got from various employers and the students who got employed at different companies throughout the United States. So the program is structured to be able to finish in 3 semesters maximum. Some people take longer because they take 1 or 2 courses a semester versus the 3 we recommend. In summer, unfortunately, we don't offer many courses. Sometimes there is 1 or 2, but mainly it's the courses are during the semesters, the 2 semesters, fall and spring. So the curriculum consists of the following required courses, which is corporate finance, financial engineering, probability for electrical and computer engineers, actually it's probability for financial engineers here, stochastic processes for financial engineers, again, and mathematics and tools for financial engineering. And we also require 1 unit of directed research, which is gives the opportunities to students to do their own research, individual research under the supervision of a professor, which is usually me. And, they get a chance to collect data and really work on a problem of their own choice. Or if they don't have a problem of their choice, the director, which is me, helps them choose one. We have several electives. We have 9 units from the finance, business, and economics area, which amounts to 3 courses because they're all 3-unit courses. And then we have 4 units, which is 1 course, which is about optimization, stochastic systems, programming of simulations, depending on the background and interest of the students. Some of the students want to get into the quantitative area, some others not. So depending on what the student likes, we recommend and advise to take the appropriate units from these other areas. The total number of units, if you put it together, it comes to 33 units. And that's the minimum total required to graduate. The USC has a minimum GPA of 3 out of 4 in order to get a master's degree. So if your GPA is 2.99, you won't be able to get a degree. It has to be exactly above 3. So in general, most students obviously make it with a high GPA and they go on to get good jobs. The program is very competitive. It has been very competitive. We get about or a range of 400 to 700 applicants, and we accept about 50, 60. Actually, we accept more, close to 100, 110, but eventually from those accepted, about half end up to come to USC because they get they apply to many different universities and they get other offers, so they consider other places for various reasons. Now the program, we also at USC, we have a master's in finance, which is at the Marshall School of Business. And we also have a mathematical finance, which is administered by the Department of Mathematics. So the question that always comes up is, what is the difference between financial engineering at USC, mathematical finance, and master's in finance in Marshall? So what do we do in financial engineering? We train the students in 4 areas. One area is obviously the financial, which take courses from industrial engineering, our department, and also Marshall School of Business. So they have the basics of finance and understanding how, what are the financial problems, what are the challenges there. Then we teach them engineering modeling, which is the stochastic processes and the tools to model a financial problem. Then the third direction is data analysis, optimization, and so on, how you, once you model the problem, how to deal with data, and so on. So throughout the courses, we also teach the students software tools. It could be Python, MATLAB, C++. A lot of students come into the program and they never program anything in their lives before. Some come with some programming knowledge and so on. So these are the 4 main areas: finance, modeling, optimization, and data analysis, and software tools. That these basic 4 trainings, you don't get them in the mathematical finance and you don't get them in the Masters of Finance, even though there is an overlap between the 3 masters program. So if the person is in love with math and really wants to go into the mathematical aspect of finance, especially if the person wants to do a PhD in that area, we recommend those students to go with the mathematical finance. If people hate math and they're not, they don't want to get into too much into quantitative because of the mathematical difficulty they have, and they don't want to be trained, we recommend go to do a master's in finance, which is less mathematically intensive. They all have math, by the way, so there's nothing that is free of math. But in our program, we have courses that they're challenging with respect to math, and students need to learn. Next, I think there's next. Kevin, what's the next slide?
Let's see. There we go.
So let me say a few things about students, because the number 1 question that they always ask is job opportunities. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing students do after a semester, they try to apply in various companies, and we have a big list of past companies that hire students for internships, which we provide when we are asked. And a lot of students do get internship over summer. Sometimes they get internship during the academic year, and so on. So the way it works is that we provide them the tools, the directions, the advice, but it's really up to them to reach out and apply to different companies. We don't have a company that comes to us and says, send us 10 students, send us 20 students. It doesn't exist in any of our master's programs. Now, when they graduate for jobs, we have various open houses. We have a career office that helps students with their CVs. We have companies that come over, financial companies with open houses, so on, and booths to provide information. And again, in this case, we encourage students to apply everywhere. It's amazing that uh, companies which are not the classical financial companies uh, hire our students, because our students are trained in risk analysis, in a lot of different financial aspects that almost every big company needs them. So, we had students who got hired by DirecTV, by entertainment companies, by real estate companies, by insurance companies, in addition to other classical financial companies, Merrill Lynch, and so on. So this is the thing that I didn't think about it from the very beginning, that there's almost every big corporation uh, may need people that graduate from our program. And again, we have a long list of different companies that hire our students. We are trying to develop statistics. Where do our students go? That's very difficult. We usually do the manual search ourselves from LinkedIn if people have a profile there, because students usually left and they never report back to what happened. Sometimes we get feedback from them. They show up to say hello, or come back in Los Angeles. And up to now, all the feedback I have been getting as a director is all positive. They were very happy with the program. They were very happy with their career. And that has been very promising. I never encountered any person who came back and say, I cannot find a job, help me out, and so on. That doesn't mean it may not happen. But up to now, we've been very fortunate and successful to generate well-trained students who are able to find good jobs and establish a career. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Professor. I think one of the things that really does make this program unique is something that you just hit upon, which is that, it is very, it's something you can apply to multiple industries. So, you can go into different types of industries, you can look at different types of companies. They all have a need for this, and it allows our students to really move around and explore different areas that they may be interested in as far as work goes. I do think that our students definitely benefit, and this is something I'm glad you brought up, from the Viterbi Career Connections office and being able to go and get their CVs read and making sure that they have the appropriate, structures on their resume and CV so that they're really prepared when they start to interview for either internships or full-time employment offers right on site, right within the School of Engineering. So definitely makes it unique. At this time, I'll talk a little bit about our applying and enrollment options. I mentioned before that we have two different types of enrollment options. One is an on-campus student, the other is our Den at Viterbi online student, which I'll get more into detail about in a moment. But as you can see, these are our basic master's requirements, all right? So starting off at the beginning, you need a BS degree in engineering, computer science, math, or related hard science field. I'll come back to this on the next slide too, because there are some nuance there for this program specifically. For those that are interested in applying for spring, there is still time to apply as a Den at Viterbi online student for spring of 2026. The application fee for that cycle is $90. The fall 2026 and spring 2027 on-campus and Den application fee is $105. So it has gone up a little bit. Some of the things that you need to pull together as you're looking to apply: official transcripts, an electronic copy uploaded to your application, your resume, your CV, your personal statement, as well as letters of recommendation. Definitely check your program to make sure that those are still required for your specific program. The way you do that is this little box right over here to the right. It has the actual link to the program in it. And like I said, you're going to get a copy of these slides, so you'll be able to go back and follow up and take a deeper dive into that. As I mentioned before, our master's requirements, specifically for the financial engineering masters, are a little bit different. As our professor was just talking about how our students kind of go everywhere and they're able to use this degree to go into different types of companies and different types of genres of working. The background also is very diverse. So we have students that come from computer science backgrounds, biomedical, economics, finance, ISE. So a lot of different engineering backgrounds can also qualify to apply for this program. There are instances where we have students that may not have an engineering background. And so in those cases, we want to make sure that students have strong mathematic background, either through calculus, differential equations, linear algebra, and a background in probability slash statistics. So as long as you have that core and you've done well in them as well, you will qualify to apply to this program, right? As you can see at the bottom of each of these slides, we mentioned that the GRE is not required for our master's applicants for 2026. Some quick deadlines. I mentioned before, if you're looking to apply as a Dennett Viterbi online student, there is still time, and that deadline will be coming up in a couple of weeks for the Dennett Viterbi online program for spring of 2026. For on-campus program for spring of 2026, that deadline just passed. It was October 1st of 2025 for our on-campus students. For fall of 2026, the scholarship deadline is December 15th, 2025, so in a couple of months. The final deadline is January 15th, 2026. So you still have some time to apply if you're looking to start in the fall, either via the Dennett Viterbi online in the fall or on campus. If you're looking to do the Dennett Viterbi online program, as we mentioned before, there's still time to do it for the spring. You will want to go to their website specifically, and the link is here, as well as their email address for you to ask any specific questions about the Dennett Viterbi program, which I'll talk about now, what that looks like. So as I mentioned, we have two methods of delivery. We have our on-campus and our online delivery known as Dennett Viterbi. One of the things I want to stress about this is that they are the exact same program, the exact same classes, the exact same degree. There is no difference between the two of these degrees. They are the exact same program. The only thing is that there are difference in modality. One is online and one is in person, but you're getting the same instruction, the same requirements, the same tests, the same professors and faculty exists in both of the programs. It is the exact same program. If you do the Dennett Viterbi program online, it does not say online on your degree because it is the exact same program. So it's a modality preference. Our Dennett Viterbi program is really designed for working professionals, and it is usually a part-time program. And as you can see, this is kind of how it breaks down. So our on-campus students typically go full-time, and that equates to 3 classes per semester. As our professor Iwani talked about, it's 1.5 to 2 years to complete. And then our Dan Viterbi program is part-time and typically 1 to 2 classes per semester with 2.5 to 3 years to complete. All right. So that's just the difference in each one. Um, just to give you an idea of how we do our Dan at Viterbi program, it is, like I mentioned, same lectures that the on-campus students get. You are able to interact with your faculty and with your classmates. It's all done electronically. Your homework is submitted electronically, and your exams are taken at proctored locations unless you live in the area and you're able to come to campus. This is the difference between the two programs. As you can see, it's really a modality difference. Same, degree, same program. You do have the option, if you do Dennett Viterbi online, you have the option to come to campus and take your classes in person if you so happen to be in the area. So that's one of the perks of doing the Dennett Viterbi program, is that you have the ability to kind of do both, be in person or online, depending on your schedule and how far away you are from campus. Another thing I want to stress or kind of bring to your attention is the opportunity to apply for these programs through limited status. And what that means is you're not officially admitted to the program, but you're basically testing it out, seeing if this is a program that you want to do and that you like. You are able to take a maximum of 12 units limited status before you officially apply into the program. Many students do this for a variety of reasons. If they want to just kind of see what the courses are like or just see how they're going to do in the program and how it's going to fit into their life, they might want to do a class or two limited status before officially applying, and then those classes will be added to your status as an official student. So it's, you kind of get a head start in so many ways before you admit it. But once again, you still have to have at least, a cumulative GPA of 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. And we will take into consideration the classes that you did take limited status and how well you did in them when you apply for official admission. Many of you may also be looking at employer reimbursement. So if you're full-time, if you're working full-time and your employer is going to pay for you to go back to school, typically through the Dinette Viterbi program, you can defer up to 90% of your tuition. And by doing this, you can do this through the Employee and Reimbursement Deferment Program. And there's links at the bottom of this slide that kind of walk you through that process and what's required of you. As I mentioned, you can defer up to 90% and allow for your employer to submit those tuition reimbursements to you, and then you pay the 10% tuition upfront each semester that you're in the program. But it's definitely worth taking time to really dive into that and see what is required and what paperwork is needed for you to follow through with the employer reimbursement deferment. To give you an idea of how much it costs to go to USC, this is a cost breakdown for fall of 2025 all the way through summer of 2026. These costs definitely change per year, but this is the current per unit rate, as well as what it will cost for a 3-unit course and a 4-unit course. So it gives you an idea of what the cost of your total degree will be based off of 3-unit or 4-unit courses, which is typically the norm through most of our programs. Scholarships. We have lots of scholarships that we give to students. If you're a Dinette Viterbi online student, there are scholarships specifically for our Dinette Viterbi students. And this kind of breaks down what those scholarships are and what you need to do to apply for them or qualify for them, as well as the deadlines. For spring of 2026, the scholarship deadline is Friday, November 14th. So a little over a month away or about a month away. For fall of 2026, that deadline will be posted after the November 14th deadline so that people don't get confused. But there are always scholarships and monies that are available for students. And this can be anything from 1 to 4 units in tuition dollars that are available to help offset some of those costs. The same for our military and veteran scholars or students that are looking to apply that have served either active duty military. As you can see, there's anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 in scholarship that are available, and those deadlines are also listed below. We also have yellow ribbon funding. USC Viterbi's offers an unlimited number of yellow ribbon funding for our eligible veteran candidates. So these are a lot of different funding options that are there and available to students to help offset some of these costs, including scholarships for our on-campus students as well. All right. So for those of you that are looking to get started for taking campus classes on campus, here's a couple of links that will help you get started. Links to the application, links to visit campus if you're in the area and you want to come and take a tour. If you'd like to come and potentially meet with an admission counselor or advisor, we have that available as well. For those of you that are interested in taking classes online via Dinette Viterbi Online, you have several links here that start your formal admission process as well as connects you to our staff that work with the Dinette Viterbi Online students. All right, so now I can open it up to the Q&A part of our session. So if any of you have any questions for our faculty, for myself, feel free to type them in the Q&A section of the bar at the bottom, and we will get to those. I think I'll start us off. Professor, if you could, tell us what is something that you love most about this program? I know you're extremely hands-on with the students and with the curriculum of the program. What is something that, really sticks out to you about the program and really is an aspect that you love about it?
Well, I'm very proud of the learning part of the program, how people come and start the program and what kind of knowledge they get at the end when they graduate, because this is really the deliverables. People pay a lot of money to come to USC, they spend their time. And me as a director, I want to make sure that they get a good return of their investment. And I think they do, and I'm very, very proud about that. And the best judge are the results. Our students get jobs, they find good careers, and they come back and acknowledge that, those who come back. Uh, and I ran into many students who said, your course was very valuable. That course was uh, so great for me, and so on. So getting the feedback makes me feel good that we are doing something right and we help students, which is our job as professors, to do that, to disseminate knowledge and make people happy through learning.
Yeah. Love that answer. Yeah. It's great. We do have a question in the chat. It says, if you have work experience, will that count in my admission application? So yes, Professor, if if we have applicants
Yeah,
that have work experience, how do we look at that? How do we
yes.
evaluate that?
Okay. So admissions is not a complicated process. The I don't get involved in admissions, but I work with them and I give them some guidelines. The first thing we look whether we'll admit a student or not is to ask the question, will this student be able to survive? Will this student be able to graduate? Because it's unfair and unethical to
Hmm.
admit someone knowing a priori that this student most likely will not make it. For example, a student gets a degree, a bachelor degree with GPA 2.5. Okay, and we know our GPA minimum to graduate is 3. So these students are likely to make it. But let's assume that we get students from other areas which come with high GPA. We got a student from accounting, for example. So in cases like that, with backgrounds that they are not mathematically oriented, they don't get. We look about math. So the necessary condition, what we look fundamentally, because that's a part that most students have a difficulty and they find challenges, is the math part of the program. Okay, mainly stochastic processes, um, and linear algebra, advanced calculus, and things like that. So if a person comes from industry, has a lot of background, of course, that's a plus, but the student needs to take courses which are mathematically oriented. And they require some basic maths, which is, as I mentioned, advanced calculus, probability statistics, maybe differential equations, whatever math background has will help. So I look whether the student had this basic math background. If the student does not have this basic background, it's very difficult to be admitted because he's going to be in trouble. And sometimes students come over, which they were not accepted. They say, I really want to get into your program. What do I do? And I advise them, look, there are many courses online, even or in different universities, which are much less pricey, lower cost. Take those courses, get good grades, and reapply. So everything counts, everything you have. You have a publication, if you have industry uh, experience, of course, is a good thing to have.
Mhm.
Uh, but you need to have the fundamentals, and the fundamentals is some good background in math.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. I think you hit some really great points. We definitely want to see students successful. So That's what we're looking at first to make sure that you will be able to complete the program and be successful in your education endeavors. We have a second question that says, how large are the lectures slash classes?
Our classes are reasonable size. I
Mhm.
don't think I've seen a class which is more than 40 students because I teach a required course,
Mhm.
which is 518. That's the first course that students take, and it's only for financial engineer students. So the class size varies between, I would say, 25 to 45. So the size of the classes is very good compared to other programs, I would
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable size to get to know the names of the students, for the students to have access to the professor and the TA and the grader. So we have a very, I believe, a very good system set up that they gives accessibility of the students to direct accessibility of the students to the professor, the TA, and so on. Uh, so we have that. The thing that I notice is that most students do not take advantage of that, but it's there. Okay, so I have office hours, for example.
Mhm.
Only very few students show up
Yeah.
to ask questions or discuss things. So that's a problem that I think I try to encourage them uh, to do attend office hours and come and ask questions, but a lot of students choose not to. So that's one uh, problem we have, but we don't have the opposite problem of students wanting to see a professor and not be able to see
Yeah.
him or her. We don't have that problem at all.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we have another question that says, are there group projects or more individual work in the classes?
Yeah, in classes, obviously, at least in classes are taught by different people. So every professor has his own style, his own requirements. I can only say what I do in my class. In
Mhm.
my class, I always encourage students to learn from each other, to collaborate. I discourage them from copying without understanding things. Um, so collaborating with other people, with their students, fellow students, or professors is always a good thing if it was done with the intention of learning and not copying and not seeing even what you copy.
Mhm.
So when the individual project that we give that is requires students work on their own, we ask them to work on their own for the purpose of learning how to, there are various skills we want to train students on. One skill is to learn how to read guidelines carefully and follow them, be able to go and collect data by themselves and analyze them, pick up a method, run simulations, whatever they want to do, and write their own report. Uh, because we figure if they go to a company, they're going to give them similar assignments. They're not going to have a buddy next to them working on the exact same problem. But we encourage them. Sometimes they take courses with different professors and they want to ask questions about their projects to different people. We encourage them to to do so. Um, so collecting information from people, interacting with people is something that we encourage very much, as long as the incentive is all about learning and doing better.
Yeah. Awesome. I agree. All right. Do we have any other questions in the chat or in the Q&A section? Great. If not, we can go towards our last slide, which has all of the different links and email addresses for information about our programs and anything that you might want to follow up and contact us later about. Again, you don't have to remember this. You're going to get this all in the slide deck that is sent to you at the end of this presentation, likely within the next day or so. So any last questions or any last thoughts, Professor?
Um, no, I think we cover almost everything. Obviously, please give them my email.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, even the people who did not attend this webinar, they can contact us. I mean, so whatever questions they have, we'll be happy to answer and help them in the process uh, to achieve their goals. Uh, yeah, that would be fine. I will always respond to the emails. We have a dedicated email for the program. It's called msfine at usc.edu. Easy to remember, msfine at usc.edu. So you send me an email and whatever information you need, I'll be glad to send it to whoever asks for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Professor Iwanu. It's been great learning more about this program, and I think our students got a lot of information from it as well. We will be sending this out to the students that were able to sign up and then couldn't make it. And we'll also use this as a link on our website. So this is great information that we're going to continue to push out to all of our prospective students. Again, thank you all for coming. I appreciate all the great questions and engagement. And once again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to us directly and we will get those answered and hopefully see your application this fall or sometime next year for the following semester. You all take care and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.